Welcome everyone back to another Game Vault podcast stream. I'm your host Mark. We're happy for the Game Hour. Last one for September of this year. God, this year is flying by quickly. I gotta fix this here. There we go. For those of you watching on YouTube and Twitch, why isn't it? There we go. All right. Now we're good. All right. Alright. So, how's everybody doing tonight? It's a great Sunday evening here, a little delayed by Friday. And that'll explain when we get into the what I've been playing in a couple minutes. But, yeah, we're through 9 months of this year, basically. So, we should have full Extra Life revealed next week, which is exciting. Still nothing like nailed down in terms of every week except for I think I should have the week that I'm doing and sort of a couple other possibilities, but that'll fill in as we go. So exciting news coming up about our Extra Life campaign. We raise money for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia every year, and we're doing it for 4 Saturdays in November, split up amongst different times. I may stream all 4 Saturdays. For certain lengths of time, but there will be one where you will be just with me for like 12 to 18 hours. So, I already have some special guests lined up for a possible a stream with a friend of the podcast. So we are getting things in motion for that. But as what you've all were probably wondering, Friday night, I realized that I had only played Nier and Donkey Kong Country, and there wasn't much to say about any of them in the news, and it was going to be like a 20-minute show on Friday. So I took the Friday and Saturday nights to sort of play a couple games, and to just have opinions about other things, and sort of look into what's coming up in the future, and just have ideas. Game Ball Cat's here. And yeah, just sort of figure it out. So, without further ado, let's get into the games that I streamed, because those will be the more boring ones for those of you that watch the streams or have been following along. Yeah, so Donkey Kong Country, we're moving along there. I made it. I never made it to Candy. I'm finishing up the world. I think this is the second to last one. I know I was talking to Dan, and he said the one funny thing about the stream is that he knows where all the secrets are, and it's kind of funny seeing me run past them. But to be honest, I'm just trying to finish the game. So, yeah, it's essentially. Yeah, but I'm still having fun with it. Still, chugging away at a platformer, which, I'm notoriously not good at. It's nice to have sort of the way this and Super Mario World 2 worked, in that you had checkpoints and save, things, and not playing like a Mario or, any of that. Well, we could use save states with anything we play here, but having the ability to, if I lose all 5 lives, I just start from the last time I saved the candy. So, yeah, we're necessarily not needing to replay things a lot, and we also implemented a save state strategy for these games, where if I rerun the same levels 3 weeks in a row, I get to use a save state in that 3rd week every time I beat a level. So we only had to implement that once. And that was only because I barely died at the last level before we got the candy. Or in this case, to the one Kong that flies you from world to world, to where I could go back and save. So, yeah, it's been fun. I'm enjoying it. Can't wait to see what we pick up next time. As I said before, I think the Mondays are going to be, basically Nintendo, Sega, NES, Super NES, and Sega. Maybe we'll do any of the weird systems, possibly. Maybe we'll stretch it to N64. I don't really want to go to PS1, just because those tend to have loading times and stuff. So, just sort of trying to make it the easiest route for doing an hour at a time. So, yeah. What else do we have? So, Nier, I finally hit the turning point, as I mentioned to Night Duck. Sorry, I had to get Game Ball Cat away from chewing wires. Here, give me a second for those of you watching the video. Sorry about that. So I've hit the point where I am completely excited about the game moving forward. I got into where the story's going, kind of got an idea with some things. He mentioned that I'm nowhere near where the full story is going, but at least I finally hit that turning point to where I didn't feel like I was just running around killing things with no real objective going forward. So we fought the boys once we found where they were inside of a crater after fighting these two giant bosses. Starting to move things along. I'm really, really enjoying it, and can't wait. And for those of you that may have skipped an episode, I did beat Persona 3. We leveled up enough, and I had enough accessories that I basically won it without doing optimal strategies. Me and Night Duck were talking about it, and the things I was doing, there were probably more optimal strategies to win faster, but since I had leveled up so much and had a persona that made me virtually invulnerable, along with an accessory that made me immune to any status effects, I could basically just walk through it with no problem. So next week, this Saturday, we will start up Eterna Nights, or Etern Nights. Sorry, I don't know where I'm getting the extra syllable from in there. That will start up on Saturday night, and then we'll work through that. And then I may go to Legends of Heroes Trails in the Sky SC. After that, we'll see where we're at. Go back to the first RPG I played on this channel. But moving on to what I did in the intermeeting days between what would have been Friday's podcast and what is tonight's podcast. I downloaded 2 games that are in my backlog that will probably be long-ish games, but not super long games. So there'll be things I can play, that's not sports related. Because I played way too much NCAA 24, still enjoying it. Still the greatest coach in the history of North Carolina football. Go Tar Heels. And, I started up some, I played some FIFA 24 and stuff like that. But I did download 3 games that were on Game Pass. And I might check out some other Game Pass stuff. So, just kind of trying to fill the void until some things come out that I do want to play. So first one on my backlist is going all the way back to, I believe it's Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is the second one in the remake series. So far, I remembered why I love those games, or that game when I beat the original Tomb Raider when that came out. So far it's been fun to play through. I immediately went, I'm just going to try and play the story and get through and do all that stuff. And, I put it on easy and just sort of be this game that I can just talk about the story and the mechanics and stuff like that. And we, and just the group of us can just talk about what it was doing right and wrong. So I am just about in the beginning. I finished the first chapter. Starting up to, I guess, the hub where I'm going to be while I'm doing missions. and trying to, I guess, avoid Trinity or whatever the big bad is in that game. And we, um, yeah, I'm getting the bow right away. The pistols I think are on unlimited ammo, and um, yeah, we are playing really back into that groove that the original Tomb Raider had, and I'm excited to play through it. I also did download Shadow to play afterwards, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the third one, but that'll be way down the line. Second game I downloaded was Jedi Fallen Order. The game definitely as not a huge Star Wars fan, a fan in general, which I like the material and the movies and things, but I'm not like super obsessed with it, and I've seen the movies a billion times or read the novelizations or watched any of the side content and all that stuff, or extended universe stuff. So that part of it won't grab me as much as some people. Like some of the reveals of towns and ships and stuff. Probably will get a reaction from me more like, oh, cool, that thing looks awesome. Rather than, oh my god, that's it, and know the whole history and lore of that ship. But gameplay-wise, a little confusing at first. Again, playing on one of the easier levels, just so I'm not frustrated with it, because I have very limited time with the games outside of streaming, with both work, Night Balance, hi Night Duck, so the lightsaber stuff has been pretty fun. I had first mini boss battle, which was a little bit frustrating. I don't know if I understood exactly what I was supposed to do there, but I did eventually get it to the damage threshold that ended the fight. Because I guess that's going to be one of the final boss battles of the game. So, yeah, the animation is great and awesome. And Night Duck, you said you installed Linux on your desktop, so we no longer have any Windows devices. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those living that Linux lifestyle. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I know enough about things to make it dangerous, but I don't know if I'd have the confidence to have straight Linux stuff. But I'm sure you could help me if I ever did want to do something like that. But that's pretty cool. The full free separation from Microsoft here. But I am not, as I am playing Game Pass games. So far the story's been good. It got me emotionally upset. I haven't tried Windows 11. So you have a new. I think I need to upgrade something in my computer to be able to even go there. So, yeah. Probably going to have to do that soon, since they're probably going to stop supporting 10 shortly. And, yeah, so back to Star Wars. Story got me mad at the very beginning, when one of the characters I only knew for like 5 minutes, got really attached to, and that person, ends up being the catalyst for the whole thing. So, already got me mad. So the story is working on me. It being separate from the movies probably will help with me. Just because, again, I'm not tied to the lore or the stories from the movies. So, interested to see where it goes. Like I said, it still looks good. Plays well. And I also downloaded Jedi Survivor to play after as well. Yeah, all those two games, plus I downloaded the trial for EA FC 25. Gameplay's much different. They did a lot of good improvements to the career system, like when you're playing as a manager of a team. Added a bunch of good stuff to that. So I think it'll be, a good thing to dive into. 24 felt like a little bit of just an extension of 23, but that's because they probably had to change a whole bunch of stuff. We have a story in the news about why these new ones might be different than the ones previous. But yeah, had some fun with it. So Yeah, the announcing, they did the multi announcing system, and the second announcers are pretty terrible. It's the first time I've seen that in the two games I've played. Multiple announced teams, so kind of interesting. Um, that I don't know what they were going for. It's way too generic. Maybe just playing it early because I think it doesn't come out till next week. Maybe that stuff will change. Um, but it also might have to do with the thing that's in the news, why it's pretty bad. So, yeah, those are the games I've been playing. Just basically treading water. I'll probably be playing Zelda at some point this year. Probably not going to get it as soon as it comes out, just because I do have to save money and all for the Comic-Con trip. So I'm trying not to buy or purchase anything until like late October, essentially to so that I can make sure that if I want to get anything at Comic-Con, I can get it. Because I already set aside my food budget way beforehand, so I don't have to worry about not eating while I'm in New York. I have room on credit cards and stuff like that if need be. Don't want to do that, but I wanted to make sure I didn't want to make any purchases, just in case. So Zelda probably have to hold off until November, December. So that's in the thing, and then everything else I want to play doesn't come out until like October. We have Metaphor, and we have Call of Duty. Those are coming, and then there's a bunch of games in November and December that I do want to catch up on, and hopefully things that are, I think, Indiana Jones, things that'll be on Game Pass that I'll be able to play pretty easily. Again, just don't have as much time with all the streaming and stuff that I don't want to really spend money on a game that I know I'm not going to play a long time for. Like, I would have bought Persona if it wasn't on Game Pass. I'm probably going to end up buying Metaphor. So, yeah, just trying to, allocate the money better, as I add more stream dates to, the list here. So, yeah, that's about all I've been playing. Hopefully have more updates, and maybe I'll add more games as Game Pass stuff comes out to the list. But yeah, it was nice getting those 2 days because it allowed me to, just jump into, different things that I've been meaning to play but haven't gotten the chance to. So, without further ado, let's go to the news. So our big news story of the week is Nintendo is finally suing Palworld. But as I thought when the lawsuit first came out, the lawsuit, the patent they're suing for, is not for the characters and stuff, because I think they would lose that because a lot of the characters also share similarities with Dragon Quest characters, so I don't know if Nintendo could even sue on that regard in terms of that. But as you see in the headline here, for those of you watching, they might have the patent on how you catch your friends in Palworld. The ball catching mechanic, like your Pokeballs in Pokemon. I haven't played Palworld, so I don't know exactly what they're called there. But yeah, it's they maybe get caught. No pun intended. Using a feature of the game and not so much the characters, which is what everybody thought they would get sued for. So what started out as when I was talking to Jen and Tom about this when the news first broke. Probably these nuts or something. We thought it was like, Nintendo finally became Nintendo and went, we're going to get these guys because their thing looks way too similar to our thing. And while this is still partially what they're doing, they actually have, maybe a leg to stand on here in terms of what they are going after them for. Don't know if they'll win. Don't know, exactly. Not a legal IP lawyer here, but the the intent of going after a mechanic instead of the look of the characters may make it easier for them to do it. It's like it's why in music when they can sue for certain things in a song rather than like the harmony of a song or something, like they found the specific thing they could go after in it rather than the overarching thing that this thing very much looks like our game. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what this will do. The good thing is another story which I don't think I pulled. Excuse me. I don't think I pulled. Is that they're not going to go free to play Palworld. So yeah, they're not not going to just get kicked off of the they just close it down. That people have paid for it, and they're probably going to try and figure this out. I don't know if it's just going to end up being a settlement or anything like that. So yeah, just a fun story to follow. Probably not going to be. It's going to be crazy, but I don't know how close to crazy it is going to be compared to the Activision, Sony, Microsoft stuff that was just pure pettiness. This seems more like Nintendo doing what Nintendo does and protecting parts of its IP and things here. So, yeah, we'll see where this goes. I'm very interested in it. And the story I was alluding to before. I'm going to move this water over here so I can see better. Ooh, sorry. I was in the comments reading this one. Scrolling up to the top. My apologies. EA says that AI is at the very core of its business. So essentially, I'm trying to summarize as much as I understood of this article. They're using AI in multiple ways, and most of it is problematic in terms of, character voices, for NPCs and things like that, and for level design, and just things that could, like, eliminate jobs, which is very, very scummy. So the they're the most important thing. Let me scroll down and see. Yeah, so as you see in some of the photos here, this is AI building these houses in The Sims. And for NCAA 25, that's how they were able to build the stadiums and stuff, because they could just tell it to build. Like this example here is they wanted to build a Parisian style residential building, and then just using text, they were able to build whatever this scene is supposed to be here, in a game, and try and, while there could be two, just using AI to do things that like multiple people would have had to do. The main thing that they see in there is that using the AI tools with Stadium Creator, it's cut creation time at the stadiums down by 70%, which helped them work on other things, which seems good on the surface, but also there's a chance they could get it wrong and not be more accurate, and they're hoping that the AI will help with the IQ ratings of I don't want to say AI opponents, like computer opponents or the CPU players that you play against in sporting games and stuff like that. So, like, creating characters, make two characters with weapons, and it creates these two characters. It's just a bunch of stuff where, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I got from it too. Is that they're using a lot of tools that are, been for 10 years mixing in with AI, just so they don't, you know, what's it called? Get into the scary thing where they did the AI of a soccer player, Jude Bellingham, and I think like had him say things in his voice and responses to things. Even though he allowed them to do that, that's the very scary thing that's like sort of hidden all this. NPC reactions using AI experience, and that's where it gets kind of scary. But it's just another thing where what I always say. Yeah. So. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up what Night Duck was talking about here. Oops, sorry about that. I hope my screen isn't on there. I'm just hitting everything. Yeah, so... Yeah, I'm just trying to find it where... Yeah, so... I'm just trying to find out. Hold on a second. Yeah, so I'll find out and I'll put it in the show notes there. But yeah, this is just another example of EA. If there's enough pushback or things change, they will change their mind and back off. They've done with some things in the past, but okay, that's where I was trying to find it in the Discord here. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm not good at this stuff. Just not. Yeah, so. Alright, we'll pull it up at the end for the people there. I just don't want to have a lot of silence here. But yeah, this is interesting because this is where the industry might be going, but it also could be EA just trying to do something that everybody else has already figured out. Moving on to our next story and more interesting stuff, but also knowing their audience. PlayStation has announced the 30th anniversary edition for the PS5 Pro, and they're making it very much look like an original PlayStation as best they can. Got the colors, got the logo scheme. The controllers are as close as you can get. While still being PlayStation 5 controllers. I already sent this over to Tom, and he has very much said that he would be, tempted to buy this. So it's all limited edition. It has like the script and all in there. So you're probably going to buy this on the secondary market unless you got lucky to get into direct.playstation.com. But it does look really, really good in terms of the color scheme and the uh, the face button labels and stuff. Um, I like adding these extra stripes here. Um, you know, to differentiate that this is the Pro console, and then they're doing a version for just the regular PlayStation 5 Deluxe, the digital console. So, it's going to have all this stuff like etched on the pad there that'll light up, which is pretty cool. And then it has I think they're making, 12,300 of them, and they'll let you know what number you got there. That's what it'll make it ridiculous on the secondary market there. But very, very cool, attention to detail with this. Still $700. This, I think, is going to be the same amount. But yeah, it's a Sony does the thing where they announce something where the majority of people will go, no, I'm not paying that much. Why would I pay that much? And then they announce something like this, and people go, oh yeah, I'll pay that much for that. It also comes with controller case, charging station, all this stuff. So pretty cool collector's edition here. $700 is still insane, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice little attention to detail in there. So moving on to another story that may interest Tom. After 22 years and 18 games, Kingdom Hearts 4 will move the story towards its end. It's I only pulled it because the 18 games thing is kind of ridiculous, but true. But I don't know how much more you could sort of bleed out of this. I love this line. The more even admitted he's the only one who understands the game's underlying themes, and some aren't explicitly depicted in the games. That's just great. And he didn't really give any details, but the game would actually be made in Unreal 5 and Unreal Engine 5, which will make it look really good. But so people think that there might be a Star Wars section, which would make sense. People have been waiting for that in there. Theme is my friends are my power. But yeah, so the headline caught me, because it's just an amazing thing with this game. This is definitely one of those things that if you're into this, you're into this. And it's kind of just funny that he, saying that he's the only one that knows, which is like, no shit. We can't even figure it out. Which is funny. You make the joke about my friends are my power as the theme, Jonathan. For those of you that watched the whole Persona 3 stream, essentially, the way to beat the final boss was the friends we made along the way. Literally. You got the power for the final summon thing or whatever through all your social links. That was where the power came from for your final, final card to play to kill to defeat Nyx. That it just made me laugh when they were starting to do that, and I was like, no, they're not going to do the friends we made along the way trope. But yeah, so 18 games going on 19. Final boss with a spirit bomb. Yeah, it's quite amazing. All right, moving on. No shock to anyone. Square Enix admits that Final Fantasy 16 and Rebirth did not meet their expectations money-wise. They're obviously usually way too high on what the excuse me, you know, the numbers would be, especially for a game like Rebirth, where you had to play the first one to sort of get that, so that'd be a little harder. At least, Final Fantasy 16 had a brand new story. So you know, they just need to. They said they're going to rethink how best to deliver some of the titles we've had them under development to our customers. So hopefully, it doesn't mean. What only thing I hope for here is that I don't care about like future like Final Fantasy 17 or anything like that. Um, or other games under development if 17 is under development. I don't really care, if that means they have to cut back on budget or, ways they market it or whatever. But the third Final Fantasy 7 game has to be the same. They have to go in with the same amount of care and detail as they did with the other two. Whether you disagree with what they did, whether you agreed or not with what they did, they can't have the final one be the one that they cut corners with. So they'll just have to have realistic expectations on what it's going to sell, and maybe make DLC or not microtransactions so much, but like costumes and things like that to bring in extra revenue for the third installment of Rebirth here. But yeah, like this is like a no shit Sherlock essentially, because I remember it was one of them. Was it 15? They wanted to make like 12 million copies sold or something ridiculous that no Final Fantasy game has ever done. Or get more realistic, exactly. So we'll see. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but interesting here. And speaking of the opposite of this, Crafton, who runs PUBG and all that stuff, bought Tango Gameworks, and they admit, they're like, hey, we didn't buy Tango Gameworks from Microsoft to make money, because we don't think Hi-Fi Rush is going to make us that much money. But they bought it because they liked the ideas that were coming out of the studio and think they could make something that would eventually make them money. Is they just want to maintain the legacy and give them the opportunity to, work with them in their, portfolio here. And I think that's a great thing to see in this gaming landscape. Just the idea, hey, we're going to let you work on Hi-Fi Rush 2 because fans loved it, such critically acclaimed, but we brought you in here, to just be yourselves, be creative, and work within our group here to sort of, make games that maybe will make us money one day. But, it's very nice to see that they basically went, we know it's not going to make us money. And that's the opposite of Square looking at like Rebirth and going, well, Remake sold 10 million copies. This should sell 15 million copies because more people are going to buy the sequel, which is not how it works. Most sequels sort of go a little lower because of retention rate and stuff like that. Especially a game like Rebirth, where you essentially need to play the first game to play the second game. Some sequels you don't have to do that. They sort of give you a recap, but But yeah, it's nice to see that Tango is getting some support from their new corporate owners here. So we'll see what they produce. I can't wait if they do get to do Hi-Fi Rush 2 when that comes out. Hi-Fi Rush was one of my favorite games of last year. And next story here. Um, this is great. Um, I haven't been able to watch the trailer on this stuff. I've just seen, you know, just the screenshots, and this Mijima win a pirate outfit might be one of my favorite things. And I don't know. I haven't been able to play Infinite Wealth, so I don't know if this will be a spin-off, or if this is like the next game in that series. Either way, I'm definitely playing it. I gotta get through Infinite Wealth first, but yeah. Well, this is just so good. Mijim is such a great character to play with. It's one of my favorite things about Zero, and I think it's something they did really well, because I've only played or Majima. Sorry, I don't know why I was saying Mijima. Majima. He just the transformation of where he went from when I first saw him playing like just snippets of 1 and 2, and then seeing what they did in Zero to show you how he got there is just great character development, and he's my favorite character in the series. And so he's perfect to do this kind of crazy spin-off, and I've loved what they've been doing with the Like a Dragon, like Ichiban stuff, and I think it needs it. While the Kiryu stuff was serious and had it also lighthearted, I think going in the more lighthearted direction makes the games more enjoyable. So this is definitely going to be a must-buy, must-play for me. But I am so glad that I was directed to this when it came out. But I have to sort of watch the trailer for it. Here, we'll watch it. It's a long trailer, so I'll watch it on my own. But yeah, it's going to come out February 28th, 2025. So as of right now. Next up, Xbox, the Ambassador Program. I think that's like the rewards program and stuff like that. They're shutting it down on October 15th. This is more of a PSA. I don't know. I don't even know if I have anything on here. But if for some reason you have Xbox Ambassador stuff, this is my public service announcement to go and check and spend them, because they're just going to go away on October 15th. So whatever stupid minor things you can purchase with it, and, you know, all of that. As long as you've had a 1,500 gamer score and you were at least over 17, you were able to join this. So I think I might have joined it, but either way, go and check and, you know, go through and grab whatever stupid shit that you can grab with it, because it's better than nothing on there. Next up, we have the final 2 stories are just the announcements for things you can download. So Nintendo announced 4 more games for the Switch Online. So it looks like we are getting Battletoads and Double Dragon game. That I remember renting as a kid, because I did love both games. Haven't played it in a while, but it'll be fun to jump into that again. Maybe just even for like one like little minor playthrough. I've never played Big Run, so you know, it's basically one of those racing games from the early 90s that, you know, if you've seen Outrun and things like that, sort of that same look here, except there's a lot more UI to this one. A puzzle game called Cosmo Gang the Puzzle, which were big on, you know, the Japan side on the Super Famicom. So basically just a puzzle game here. And then, you know, So looks like Super Dodgeball. But um, it I think it's essentially what it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically Super Dodgeball essentially, but using characters from River City Ransom, or the River City series. So yeah, those are the 4 games coming to Nintendo Switch Online here. Um, yeah, yeah. I was looking at it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Super Dodgeball, but yeah, yeah. This Battletoads thing was pretty cool back in the day. That they mixed 2 games to get 2 series together. And finally, the Xbox Game Pass Wave 2 for Game Pass. They'll be coming, if they haven't already shown up, they'll show up on Tuesday. So we have Wargroove here, Our History Untold, and Frostpunk 2, which will show up just on PC. Same with Our History Untold. Wargroove's the only one really for console. So it looks like by the time you listen to this, 2 of them should be out, with Our History Untold coming tomorrow. Yeah, so Overwatch 2 and things like that have already, and then you still get the, you won't get the expansions of Starfield, but you save 10%, so you save like $5 or whatever on it. So, yeah. Yeah, and then your final reminder every time we get near the end of the month here to remind you, here are the games leaving Game Pass, so if you're playing through these games, feel free, make sure that you finish up what you're playing in it. Gotham Knights, Let's Build a Zoo, Loop Hero, My Time at Porsche, Paw Patrol Grand Prix. Oh crap, I gotta finish up my stuff on that one. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Trilogy. Thankfully, I bought that on PC, so I can finish it. The Walking Dead, complete first season, Walking Dead Season 2, and Valheim. So if you have any of those downloaded for Game Pass, please make sure that you finish up what you're doing or purchase them if you want to keep playing them. I think you still get the discounted rate for having Game Pass Ultimate, I think, in this case. But, yeah. Yeah, so that'll do it for our show. Just a real quick mention for those of you listening or watching live on Twitch. As I mentioned in the little preamble of the show that is only exclusive, and you got to see me as a floating head because I've got to take a green shirt off. No Nier tonight. I pushed through this with a little bit of a headache and not feeling all that great. So, mostly headache, no other real things. It might just be a migraine. So, I apologize if the lighting on me doesn't look as good. We'll go to the full screen here. As I sort of, turn down the lights sort of around here a little bit. So no Nier tonight. We will pick that back up next week. I'm just going to go lay down and, have this sort of go away before I go back to work tomorrow. But for those of you listening on YouTube and listening to the podcast on podcast services, we'll be playing Donkey Kong Country tonight. I should definitely be up and good for that, hopefully. If not, this is worse than I think it is. But I think it's just like a migraine-ish thing, because when I was laying on my couch with everything shut off, I felt a little better than I did here. So didn't want to be staring at this computer light for too long. An hour seems good enough here. So sorry about that if I was a little, if I was a little, not as enthused tonight. But yeah, nothing to be concerned about for those that I hung out with yesterday. Like I said, I think it's just the migraine.
So yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Um, it's been fun as always, and we'll see you tonight for some Donkey Kong Country. Bye.